Hey guys, let's get started. First, we're going to need our leeks. So we're going to prep these, and then we're also going to be prepping some green onions. I have these like really old ones, so I'm planning to use the rest of those. And then I also got a new batch of those as well. And for these, we're going to separate the greens and the white. Because I have so many, we're just going to do it like that instead of using the chives for the greens. Just to let you know. For the leeks, I like to save the green part for soup, but it's completely up to you. Anywho, we have these prepped. So these are green onions. This is going to be the whites, and then we're going to set the greens aside. I'm going to use this instead of chives. And then here are our leeks, nice and chopped. We're going to add these to a pan with some oil and our whites. So go ahead and add these in. I put oil on the pan, and this is at like medium-low heat. And we're also going to add in, of course, our whites. And we're going to give this a little bit of a mix. And then we're going to be adding both salt and pepper. This is a teaspoon of salt and then half a teaspoon of pepper. And then we're going to give that another mix. And you're going to want to keep cooking this until it's nice and soft, like this. Give it another stir. Sorry about the steam. Alright, let's take this off. So we move that over to a nice glass bowl. We're going to let that cool down just a little bit. And that's our onion filling. So now let's move on to our bread. The bread, you're going to first, I have just a French loaf here. I'm going to chop it in half. And a key thing to note with the bread, you want like a loaf that has like a pretty fine crumb structure. So you don't want like a whole bunch of huge air pockets or anything like that. And so first, cut off the ends because we want these like to lie flat. You'll see in a second. And then I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces. It might depend, it might differ depending on the size of the loaf you have. But you want a chunk kind of like this. It's about like 4 inches long, I'd say. Nice, soft, and fluffy. Alright, now we're going to take a little cookie cutter. The size depends on, like the, what would that be? The diameter of your bread, I would say. So whatever works for you. And you're going to press down. Be sure to press down lightly. Kind of like let the twisting motion do the work here. You don't want to crush the middle of the bread. After you do that, you're going to push down the very center and you have a little bread cup. And we're going to repeat this with the rest. I got 6 pieces total for this. I'm going to store 4 away because I'm only going to be doing 2 for this video. And this is my dinner, by the way, so I only need 2. Alright, so set the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Grab a baking sheet and line it with a piece of aluminum foil. We're going to spray that with some cooking spray. And then you're going to set your bread pieces down, depending on how many you would like. Now we're going to add some mozzarella cheese into the base of our cup. You're going to top that with the onion mixture. You can be generous here if you'd like. Now, if you want to add meat, you could also do that. This is pepperoni. Then we're going to add an egg on top. Oh, and key thing to note, I learned this later on, stab the egg with a fork. That helps it cook a bit faster. And then we're going to spray that with oil once again. Top that with some Parmesan cheese, some green onions from earlier, or chives. I just had a lot of green onions. Then we're going to add salt and pepper on top. And finally, we're going to bake these for 20 to 25 minutes. Once again, stabbing the egg yolk really does help with this process. And 1 clock wipe later, we're done. We're gonna let these cool down for about 10 minutes. All right, they're cool. Let's take a look-see at the features. So these are super melty, cheesy, you got the nice egg going on. I love the bottom of these because they're like all enclosed. And here's a nice side look. You can cook the egg to any temperature you want, and I really hope you enjoy these. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys like this one. I know I did. And see you in the next one.